Hey eaters, welcome back to the podcast. Today we are attempting to make Cebrina cry, not like in a mean way, but we are you guys submitted some good Bluey episodes to me, and I'm going to try and describe them to her and see if I can get her to cry, because I've personally cried at so many Bluey episodes, but Cebrina's never actually sat down and watched Bluey, which I think is just crazy.
Yeah, but I'm not going to cry. I can guarantee it. Because if I'm watching a movie and I see someone else cry, sure, I'll cry. But if I'm just talking about something, I'm most likely not going to cry.
What if I start crying, though?
Well,
As
maybe.
I'm describing it.
Maybe if you cry, then I might.
That's how good the episodes are, so I can't believe that you haven't seen them. Because it's like Bluey's good for kids, but also there's just so many good parenting messages in the episodes too. So I love to just sit down and watch Bluey. But before we get into that, let's start with our glimmers of the week. Did you have anything you wanted to share?
Yes, all my hydrangeas have bloomed now. We planted them at the beginning of summer, like May-ish, and so all of the flowers have come in and they're so pretty.
Are they white or blue?
White.
I love hydrangeas. Do you know how to keep hydrangeas in a pot or in a vase?
No.
If you ever cut them and bring them into your house?
No.
You have to take off all the leaves because they absorb a lot of the water, and usually the leaves get it before the flowers. And then if you boil an inch of the stem before you put it in water, then it helps open up the pores or whatever. So it helps your hydrangeas stay fresh longer if you ever put them in a vase.
I don't think I have enough that I could actually cut them, because then I'd be empty, have an empty bush outside. But one day they'll get big enough where I could do that.
Well, if you go to Trader Joe's and get some hydrangeas, you could do that too and pretend they were yours. I grew these.
Yeah, these are from my yard. And then we also went to the farmer's market last week, and it was so fun. Got some fresh squeezed lemonade. That's my favorite thing ever at a farmer's market. The one we got in Arizona was so much ice that we finished it so fast. But in Utah, it's a 32-ounce cup, and it's this much ice, very little ice. But she's like, come back and get ice if you need more. Just so refreshing and nice. And we got I think the peach flavor, and it was so good. I love peaches right now. And then I took my girls to a park that has a river going through it, and we got to just sit, and the girls put their feet in the water and they threw rocks in the water for who knows how long, and it's just so nice. And it was overcast and windy, so it was a really nice day for it. And yeah, those are my glimmers this week.
Was it a real river, or was it the Spanish Fork Park?
No, a real river.
Oh.
It's a Spanish Fork Park, but it's the actual river going through Spanish Fork.
Not like the splash pad.
Yeah, not the splash pad.
Got it.
Yeah, so there was no one around, and it was just, there was some guy fishing down the way and some guy filming a video up on a bridge right by us. He's like, he didn't speak English, and he shows me, he's like, do you know where this bridge is? And I've been there to the trail a couple of times, but it's been years, because I would go when Starly was at dance down in Spanish Fork, but that was 2 years ago. And I was like, I think it's that way. Sorry if I'm pointing you the wrong way. But then we ended up following him there, because that's where you can actually get down by the river, and it's shallow enough where you can put your feet in and not just fall in. So anyway, he was filming a basketball something.
Nice. Well, Jake and Tess left me yesterday and took the dogs. So I'm literally all by myself, and I feel like it should be a glimmer, yay, I get alone time. But I'm I don't know what to do with myself. I woke up this morning and I'm I don't have to let the dogs out. I don't have to be back home for anything at any certain time. I'm also just bored. I'm I don't know what to do. I might go see a movie by myself today.
This would have been the week to clean your whole house.
Well, I did. So Jake was like, can you mow the lawn while I'm out? And I was like, yeah. And he was going to show me how to do it yesterday, but it's been raining so much in Arizona that it was just too wet. But then right when he left, it was dry enough that I could do it. So I was I'm just going to do it now. So I mowed the lawn yesterday and did some yard work, picked up dog poop, all of that. I did clean my kitchen yesterday, as they were packing and getting ready to go. And then yesterday I cleaned up the toy room. I cleaned up Tessa's room. And I'm this isn't going to get messy for 2 weeks.
That's nice. I wish.
It's weird to clean something and it not be a disaster an hour later.
Right.
So I just feel weird. It's just kind of eerie being home by myself and not even to have dog hair that's gonna get on the floor after I, vacuum or whatever. It's very weird, but trying to make it a glimmer and enjoy myself and just relax by the pool today. I went to dinner with a friend last night, which, I do that all the time, but it was just like I don't know how to fill my time with all this space and free time.
Yeah.
But other glimmers, I'm trying to think what else we did. Oh, I got a new phone, which my camera
Mm.
has been broken on my phone for 2 years. And so I finally feel like I can take pictures and videos of stuff because I just would avoid it before because my camera, it looked like my screen just needed to be like wiped off or something. It just looked blurry.
That's how mine was.
Was yours broken?
I don't think so. Like, I mean, I didn't upgrade my phone for, like, 4 years or something. I think I had the 12 maybe, but towards the end, yeah, I was just like I'd wipe it and wipe it and wipe it and be like, "I still feel like it's blurry. I don't know what's going on."
Yeah, we had the 14s, which Jake's camera was better, but yeah, still just not great compared to what we have now. So we switched carriers over to Verizon because we were on T-Mobile. We switched to Verizon because then we got new phones for free and we could trade in our phones and get money back. So it just ended up being a good deal. And I'm just so happy to have a new phone. But that night was like the first big monsoon storm, so we're in this store and, like, the alerts, like, I don't know if you get storm alerts in Utah
Yeah,
because we get, like, dust storm alerts or whatever, and so every single phone in the store started going off, like,
it's the
actually,
worst
it
sound.
wasn't that, like, air horn sound, it was a different, alert sound, and anyways, but they just kept going off, and it was going off all night, and so then it kept interfering with our phones transferring,
Oh gosh.
because every time, like, a message would come through, then it would mess it up. Anyways, it was just a hodgepodge of a mess. But the rain is a glimmer. Grateful to have some cooler weather and just have the rain because, Arizona needs it. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else this week. I went to La La Land finally.
I don't
La
know
La
what that
Land
is.
Coffee. It's a coffee shop from California, and they have a couple in Arizona. And I
Mm,
finally went there, and it was really good.
nice.
They have a banana coffee, and I've been trying to get Jake to like coffee, and he loves banana.
Mm.
And they had this banana latte, and so I got it for him, and I think he liked it. I don't really know. He kept being like, "I can't taste the banana. I can only taste coffee." And then when I would try it, I was like, "I can only taste banana, not coffee." I
Oh,
think he liked it though because he drank it all. But Sabrina's having her baby shower. We're having her baby shower on Saturday up in Utah. So all the family's going to be getting together to celebrate her and baby boy. So that will be exciting. Okay, let me find these episodes. How old are gonna have Bluey? So it starts out Bingo and Bluey are on the playground. They're with Chili, their mom. Just should we go over the characters just in case no one knows the characters?
sure.
Chili's the mom, Bandit's the dad, Bluey is the older sister, and then Bingo is the younger sister. And if there's any new characters that come in, I will bring them up. But it starts out Bingo and Bluey are playing on the playground, and Chili's helping Bingo because she's younger. So Bluey's like, Mama, am I better at Bingo at the monkey bars? And she says, Well, you are 2 years older. And then Bluey's like, Well, am I better than my friend? And she says how her friend can do the skip bars backwards. So Bluey just keeps bugging her mom, Well, am I better than Bingo today? Like, am I better than her? And Chili says, Bluey, just run your own race. And so Bluey's like, What does that mean? And so Chili says, Come here. Have I told you the story of when you took your first steps? And so this is the story of when Bluey was a baby. And so then it cuts to Bluey drooling on the ground, and it also shows Bandit drooling on the ground and sleeping. But then it shows Bluey rolling over for the first time, and Chili gets so excited because she rolled over, and she's like, she's doing it early. She wasn't meant to do this for a while. She's looking at her baby book of like, mile markers, whatever. And she's like, oh my gosh, she rolled over. She hasn't done that, or she wasn't supposed to do that for a while. Like, look how good she is. And so she was so proud of Bluey for rolling over early. And so then it kind of turned into a little bit of a show off. And so then they're going to family and they're like, look at Bluey. She rolled over. Isn't she so special? And then mother's groups, she's like, oh, isn't it so early? Like, look at Bluey. She's rolling over. She's so good. So as Chili is showing that Bluey is rolling over, then this other baby's mom, I think it's Judo's mom, is like, oh my gosh, look at my baby, it's sitting up. And so then all the attention goes over to the other mom with the baby sitting up. And so then Chili is trying to rush Bluey into sitting up. Now, like, kind of became a competition. And so she's got Bluey on the ground trying to teach her to sit up. And then she goes back to the mom group. They are all sitting up. And then, of course, at the same mom group, once Bluey's sitting up, now Judo starts crawling. And so then Judo is crawling. And so Chili's feeling behind because now Bluey isn't where Judo is. And so then it cuts to them back at home. Chili's trying to get to crawl as quickly as possible. And Bluey just, is sitting there and starts to roll because she can't crawl yet. And then she wasn't crawling yet, and she was just rolling around everywhere. And so Chili took her to the doctor to make sure she was okay. Like, she's not crawling, she's just rolling. The doctor says, it's fine, there's nothing wrong, that's totally fine. So then Chili and Bandit are crawling around on the floor trying to show Bluey how to crawl. Like, okay, come on, let's crawl, like trying to show Bluey. And they're just trying to get her to crawl, and she starts to scoot on her butt. So she puts her hands down and just starts to scoot across the floor. A bum shuffle is what Bandit calls it. Bluey starts to do the bum shuffle.
My girls always yell at Beast, Mom, Beast is doing a bum shuffle.
So that it cuts to daycare or the mom group, and all the moms, the babies are starting to crawl around, and Bluey's just shuffling on her bum around the whole play group. So again, they go back to the doctor. The doctor's like, it's fine. There's nothing to worry about. That's totally normal. And so Chili's like, I wasn't having it. So she's researching on her computer. She's looking at all her books. She's trying to figure out how to get Bluey to crawl. And then finally one day Bluey starts to crawl, and she starts to crawl backwards. And so then Chili goes back to the doctor and it's like, what's wrong? Why is she crawling backwards? And the doctor's like, it's fine. There's nothing to worry about. And so then it shows them at the playgroup. And now some of the kids are walking at the playgroup, but Bluey is still crawling backwards. So she's crawling, but still hasn't progressed to the point that Chili wants. It goes to Chili, and she's like, I feel like I'm just doing everything wrong. And Bandit comes to her and is like, are you going to go to mom's group? And she's like, no, I'm not going to go. Like, because she's basically feeling ashamed that she didn't do something right to teach her kid or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so then one day, one of the moms comes to see her, Coco. She's the pink poodle. So Coco's mom comes to visit Chili and was like, hey, we missed you at playgroup or the mom's group. And Chili's making an excuse like, oh, sorry, my house was a mess. Like, I couldn't come, whatever. Coco's mom shows her a picture, and it's of all her kids. It's like 9 kids. I think Coco's one of the younger ones. And so Chili's like, oh, you must have learned a thing or two from raising all these kids. Coco's mom says, yeah, I've learned a lot, and there's something you need to know. And Chili's like, what? And she says, you're doing great. And then Chili just cries, and then Coco's mom gives her a hug, and then it flashes back to Bluey, and she's crawling backwards, and Bandit and Chili are bum shuffling around with her as she's crawling backwards, and she takes Bluey back to the mom's group. Bluey's still just crawling around backwards everywhere, and Chili starts, celebrating the other kids in the group, like, oh my gosh, Judo, look at you, you're walking, or whatever. And so even though Bluey isn't where she wanted her to be, she's realized to let go of that pressure essentially and celebrate the other kids around. And then it shows Bluey, she's crawling backwards and she grabs onto the counter and she stands up and she starts walking towards Chili. And so Bluey says, why did I decide to start walking in the kitchen? And Chili says, I don't know, sweetie. And then Bingo's like, maybe you just saw something you wanted. And it's showing Bluey's perspective, walking towards Chili. And so it's so sweet.
This is like when you described the anglerfish to us and we were like, we're not getting it. And then I saw a video and I was like, I get it now.
Okay, so moral of the episode, Chili was putting so much pressure on herself to get, Bluey to these mile markers, which I think as first-time parents, we all are feeling like we're not doing enough, we're behind on something because our kids aren't meeting these milestones. And then, she has a veteran mom come to her who's had so many kids and is like, you're doing great. That's all we want to hear, as parents is that we're doing a good job or want to feel like we're doing a good job, I guess. And then Bluey just walked in her own time and she walked towards what she wanted, which was her mom.
So for the record, Mikaela's crying and Cebrina is not, as predicted.
Okay.
I actually think I will start crying when this baby starts crawling because Sora traumatized me and I don't want a mobile baby.
So tears of not joy.
Yeah, tears of sadness when this baby starts crawling. I did not realize with Sora, I was like, oh, yay, she's an early crawler, and then immediately started standing. I'm like, oh gosh, she's zooming through these milestones. And then it was like getting into everything, and then she's just at my feet constantly crying at me. I was like, I wish I could go back to not her not being mobile.
Right.
So,
Well, it's
yeah.
kind of the same thing with moving. Like, don't you think it'd be easier to move when like a baby's in your belly and they're not like needing anything from you? Just a thought.
Definitely not, especially at this point.
Okay, this next one is called Onesies. Oh, so in this episode, we have, the characters and then Chili's sister, Brandy. And Brandy comes to visit her.
You're coming to visit next week. It's not that much longer, Mick.
I guess it's good I didn't wear makeup today. I wasn't expecting this. The episode starts with Brandy, Chili's sister, walking up to the door. And she rings the doorbell and she, is kind of nervous walking up to the door, but she rings the doorbell and the girls are so excited. They come out and they're like, hi. And you can tell like they're kind of strangers at this point. Like they don't really know each other. And so then she's like, I brought you guys some gifts and they're animal onesies. And she has a zebra for Bluey and a cheetah one for Bingo. No, wait.
Flip-flopped. Because then Bingo steals Bluey's.
Right. Anyways, so they go in, they try on the costumes, and they're a little bit small. And Brandy's like, oh, sorry, like it's been a few years since I've seen them, like kind of just building on the fact that it's been a long time that since Brandy has come to see their family. And Chili's like, it's been too long. And Brandy is, kind of disappointed with herself. Like, I know it's been a long time. So Bingo puts on Bluey's cheetah costume that's like too small and starts being a cheetah and chasing everybody around. And so she's chasing them and they're running and they hide in the car. And Chili's like, oh, Brandy, what was it you wanted to say earlier? Because Brandy had started to tell her something. And then at that moment, Bingo like slams on the window or something and scares them. So they all go run out. So then they run behind the shed. They're hiding from Bingo. Through all of this, Bluey really likes Bingo's cheetah onesie. And she's kind of like, well, do they have a cheetah onesie in my size? Like, why did you bring me a zebra onesie? She's like, sorry, last time I saw you, zebras were your favorite animal. And Brandy's kind of like, how long has it really been since I've seen you? And Chili's like, well, it was 4 years ago. And so then Brandy's like, this was a mistake to come. Like, I have to go. And starts getting up to leave. And Chili's like, no, I'm sorry. Don't go. And Brandy gets up to leave. And right as she does, then Bingo comes out of nowhere and attacks her. And then Chili and Bluey are running away. And they hide in the bathtub. And Bluey looks at Chili and is like, Mom, why did Aunt Brandy want to leave? She seemed sad. So why have we only ever seen her one time in our life? And Chili's like, you know how you really want Bingo's cheetah onesie? And Bluey's like, yeah, more than anything. Like, I really want it. And Chili's like, well, it doesn't fit you. You can't have it. And there's nothing we can really do that's going to make it fit you. And so then Chili's like, there's something. Gosh. I can't even say it. She says, there's something your Aunt Brandy wants really bad, but there's nothing we can really do to like give her what she wants because Brandy really wants kids of her own, but she can't have them. And so she's like kind of explaining to her, it's hard for your Aunt Brandy to come around us because she really wants her own kids and she can't have them and she wants them more than anything. And then it cuts to Brandy and Bingo playing, and then Bingo jumps and runs off, and Brandy's kind of left like with her arms out, just like reaching out to Bingo, but it just kind of shows Bingo like running away in the distance. And then she just ends up laying in the grass and is just kind of looking at the sky and just like pondering out there. And so then Chili and Bluey start walking up to her to make sure she's okay, and she's kinda shooing them away and saying, "Go back, go back." And then Bingo comes out of nowhere and attacks them, and Chili and Brandy are left lying in the grass together and just talking. And Chili asks Brandy, she's like, "Are you okay?" And she says, "I will be." And she says, "I'm sorry, Chili. Like, I'm sorry that it's been so long since I've come. It's just really hard to see you all." And Chili says, "I know." And then she grabs her hand and they just look up at the sky together. And then she says, "But next time I come over, I'm not bringing any onesies." And then Bingo and Bluey are just playing, and then Chili and Brandy come out. It ends with them doing their dance, and they're all just laughing and having a good time together. Not even that one?
Again, if I was watching it, it'd be different.
Well, maybe I should have made you watch it while I described it to you.
You wouldn't have had to describe it to me, I would have been watching it.
I know, but I'm describing it for the listeners so that they know
Mm.
too. And I don't think Brandy ever has kids. I think she just ends up getting married at the end of season 3. But
Is that who marries Rad?
yeah, but yeah, I feel like I thought for sure that one would maybe get you to cry because you went through trying to conceive last year. And then I felt like when you called to tell me you were pregnant, like you were hesitant to tell me because you knew that's like something we've been, dealing with too. But like, I'm glad that I can be happy and not, wallow in the fact like that it's not me and not see my family for 4 years
Yeah.
because of it. And like, I do have tests, so that's a little bit easier, but okay, fine. Just me cried.
It's very different when it's like I feel like a third party in this scenario. Whereas when I was telling you, it's like I'm one of the players in this situation. So, like, I'm going to be a little bit more anxious and nervous. And watching it, even, I'm like, I can see and feel the emotion. And yeah, it's just, I feel removed from the situation.
That's funny. Now you have to go watch them and see
Yeah.
if it invokes any emotion.
Okay, I will.
Baby race and onesies. Okay. Any other thoughts on those?
I mean, both of those situations, I just feel like they're hard, and a lot of people go through them. As a first-time mom, especially, you're like, "I'm so behind on everything, and, I wanna be the first to do whatever," and then as life goes on, you're just like, "Oh, it's really not a race," and it actually doesn't matter because your kid could be an early crawler and a late walker, or a late crawler and an early walker, so then it's like, well, it doesn't matter because there's no timeline for this, and I know that infertility is just such a hard issue for so many people, and it sucks when you're going through it, and I imagine you're feeling a lot of emotions, especially right now, so my heart it hurts for everyone having to deal with it, especially you.
Yeah, it sucks because this year there's been so many baby showers and so many friends and family that are having babies. And of course, I'm so excited for them. And at the same time, like, I don't know, like, I'm at peace, if Tess is our only one, but have to grieve if I'm not going to have another. And it's hard to be in that place where I can't quite grieve that yet because I'm still holding out hope for the possibility. All that to say, super excited for your baby shower.
Yeah, it's a weird place to be in.
I feel like I also went through a period after having Tess where it was just really hard for me to even be around babies, but more so in like, I can barely handle my own. I have no interest or desire in holding your baby, or
Yeah,
like I just, had such a different reaction when becoming a mom. I just didn't have the capacity to like care because I was so drained, where now I feel like I have way more capacity. That was one of the first things I noticed since getting on ADHD medication, was just like, oh wow, like I do actually have a lot more capacity and space to like even just love another baby. Whereas
yeah,
before, like I just felt so tapped out from being a first time mom. But now with Quinn and my friend Madison just had her baby, and I'm like actually excited to like go see these babies and hold them. Whereas before, this is no offense to anybody who I was around that had a baby over the last however many years, but I just didn't even care to like hold the baby because I'm like, I don't have to do that now. I'm, out of that. I'm free
yeah,
of that. Like I just did not have the bandwidth for it,
right.
which I feel like just makes me sound like a heartless person that doesn't like babies.
I don't think so. I think it's very understandable, and that's how I feel right now. I don't have my husband here helping me, so I'm visiting all these moms who are having their babies, and the second the baby cries, I'm like, "Take it back." Before I was like, "I know how to take care of this, and I know I'm a good mom, and I can soothe this baby," and now I'm like, "She probably wants to eat. You have that, and I don't, and so here you go." I just don't have the energy to try any harder at this point.
Yeah. See, but you'll at least hold people's babies. I was just at a point that I was like, cute baby, but I had no interest in being.
You held my baby.
I remember meeting Sora one time, and maybe it's just because we live so far apart. And I held Rowan when he was little, and I think of some of my other nieces and nephews on Jake's side, and I just, yeah, did not have the bandwidth. I don't want to say to care, because I do care and I do love them, but just, I don't know. I had such a bad experience that I'm like, I don't want to
Yeah,
touch that thing with a 10-foot pole because my experience was so bad. But yeah.
understandable.
Okay, well, we didn't get Cebrina to cry, but I cried a lot. I wasn't even planning to cry. I mean, I knew I would kind of get emotional describing the episodes and stuff, but I wasn't planning to go into all of this and talk about it.
Well, thanks for being vulnerable.
Yeah, a lot of times people, I mean, are just like, "Oh, do you guys want another kid?" Or like when I tell people about like Gabby and her saying that, I was going to have another baby and like it'll be named after Nana.
Mhm.
Like, "Oh, do you guys want another kid?" And, like, so many people ask about it, and I try to just, like, be really cool and neutral about it, and, like, I yeah, if it happens, like, we will, but there's so much layers to it.
Yeah.
Like, when people ask, it's like, "Oh, do you guys want another kid?" And it's like, well, that's been the topic of our marriage for the past, like, since before Tess was even born, we were discussing a second kid because it's like, which stroller are we gonna get and what car do we want? And so it's something that's been on our mind for 6+ years. And we've gone through periods of like trying and then not trying and then trying and then not trying. And me feeling like there's no way I could ever do that again to now the other side of like, well, if I never get that again, then I'm going to be really sad. But then also trying to be okay with just one. It's such a loaded question when people ask.
Yeah.
So usually my short answer is just, if it happens, we're open to it.
Yeah.
Don't want to give you my sob story right now.
Right.
And then at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like, do I have anything to even really be sad about? Like when you told me that you were pregnant, I was like, like, don't feel bad. I'm glad and happy for you that you're pregnant. Like I couldn't even imagine being pregnant right now. Like at the time that I was at, like that would have been a lot to deal with. And so then it's like, well, I am glad I'm not pregnant. And so then like that's confusing too, to be
Right.
happy about it that I'm not or whatever. So anyways, that's my brain. That's what goes through my brain on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Sorry, I didn't cry.
yeah, go watch the episodes and record yourself.
Yeah, I'll have to do a reaction video or something.
Well, thanks for tuning in this week, and we'll see you later, Raiders.
Later, Raiders.